Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our European Challenger Cup coverage. My name is Efdot, joined by Kret. We're getting into the finals, game one in a best of three, Agilitas and Potato Boys. This is the fourth week of competition, Kret, and this is the fourth time we've seen this matchup in the finals.
Yeah, I feel like we could see it for the remaining 3 weeks. We're definitely confirmed to have it this week. The question is, will Agilitas win again? So far, they are 3-0 in the head-to-head. Bands coming out. You've got Geb, Merc, Agni, and Aphrodite taking that one away from Contri. He does play it so well, but you already know murder on that Athena. I just tweeted this out, but we have a fun little game that we like to play when we're watching Agilitas called Where's Murder? It's like Where's Waldo? But murder's always in the enemy jungle somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, last match we saw Kanye Life go into the enemy murder, also known as Kanye Life, currently his name. We saw Kanye Life go in level 2 Athena, soloing the enemy red buff. So yeah, don't be surprised if you do see some good stuff coming out of Athena in that direction. Potato Boys gonna grab Thor and Rom. Suntouch really likes that Rom, and Potato Boys in general like the Thor setup for their team. Ra and Freya on the side of Agilitas. We did just say the word setup.
Yeah, I mean, Freya Ra is classic. You set up the Searing Pain, and it's got some good ganks. I'm about to tweet this out, but watching Potato Boys is fun because you get to play what's Proxy gonna play? And the answer is, whatever you were thinking is wrong, it's something totally strange.
Last time we saw Proxy QQ playing solo lane for the Potato Boys, he actually took Shibalanki in there.
Yeah.
Expect to see something a little bit weird, maybe something bad like an Anubis, but try and make it work. We'll find out. Counter bans are coming. Shock ban out for the Potato Boys. Agilitas thinking a little more carefully about what they want to ban.
The official proxy list is solo Cirquet, pre-rework Arachne, solo Guan, solo Freya, solo Ymir, and solo Shibalanki. He takes requests, so tweet at him if you have any requests, I suppose. But my man Proxy is definitely a champion of the unconventional Vulcan. Arrow can play it decently. I'm always skeptical, and it is going to be one of those diamond Vulcans. So, hey, we'll see what he can do. On the left-hand side, Agilitas is... Well, go ahead.
Vulcan is a pick ban. Potato Boys are gonna pick Vulcan, so Pretty Prime can't play it.
Okay, yeah, true.
Pretty Prime. We talk about how Vulcan is a character that you can only play if you're very, very good at him. A lot of people seem to think that there's only one person that can actually do that, and he's on Agilitas. They're gonna go ahead and lock in Isis and Nemesis. I really like the Vulcan pick. Hopefully, it works out, and we might see a Cabrakan solo. I know Divios has been doing this a decent amount. What's the watch for?
I'm watching the timer. I want this to get locked in. He's got 12 seconds left. Is he gonna switch?
Okay. That's upsetting. That's upsetting.
Proxy. Done with you. Take back everything I ever said.
We did see so after the change, Cabrakan recently got a little bit of changes to the scaling on his individual abilities, most notably the 3 doing a lot of damage. It's a good crowd control, a lot of damage. Divios has been doing a lot of Cog Red, not in competition just yet, but practicing it in various games. We are going to see the still a little more traditional, so thanks, Proxy, for trolling everybody at home, along with Kret and I. I like these lineups. What do you think?
Well, so it's going to be Scylla in the mid lane. And the problem with Scylla, and the problem with last picking Scylla, is she doesn't have any good matchups here.
Right.
I actually quite like Vulcan versus Isis. They're not going to get that either. They have red Prime Contri wrong, which is hard, because Prime Contri is reminiscent of the MLC twins, back when Omega's name was MLC Omega, and you obviously had MLC Stealth. They had the same god pool. They both had MLC in front of their names, and they would just switch for whatever matchup was better. It was really great. Scylla has a bad matchup against Ra because he heals his creeps, and Scylla's horrible clear becomes what's worse than horrible? Like
abysmal.
Abysmal. Yeah, let's go with that. And against Isis has some of the best clear in the mid lane. She is, I believe, root immune while wind gusting.
No, she is knock-up immune.
She is.
Can be
she
rooted.
is knock immune. No, no, no. She is. She's actually root immune. Yeah, checking out the
Okay.
ability. It's weird. You don't expect it because it's the one knockback ability that is root immune. It's just one of those weird little exceptions, and that might not be something taken into account by Potato Boys in their pick ban phase. But my point is, Scylla's weakness is the fact that she has bad matchups, and these are some really bad matchups. Like, against Agni, you're like, alright, I don't really have kill pressure, his clear is better than mine, but I'll manage. Against Isis, you're like, okay, I have absolutely no kill pressure, she's gonna destroy me in clear, this is gonna be bad. Same with Raw. So it's on Arrow to really perform.
Yeah, it's really up to Arrow, and we'll see how well they do this. I'm excited to see some Vulcan going to be played by Proxy. We'll see how well he does it, and I'm sure Pretty Prime will be judging him as well. So stay tuned. We're going to get into Game 1 of your European Challenger Cup Finals in just a few. Hello, young Smite fans, and welcome to your finals. We have Agilitas in the blue trunks out of the right side, bottom hand of your spectator UI. Team Illusion coming from the north, the red, the chaos. They'll be represented by Adapting. That is actually the opposite. We have Potato Boys versus Agilitas.
Yeah, in the blue trunks, that's going to be Agilitas there. Ataraxia, Pretty Prime, Rutgosh, Country, and Kanye Life. Potato Boys will be represented by Adapting, Suntouch, Dirgius, Arrow, and Proxy QQ. They're playing Duck Duck Goose. The last time this happened, Adapting straight up flew away. Dirgius, on the other hand, is actually too fat to properly play Duck Duck Goose. And he got stuck between Suntouch and a wall. Suntouch, he's going for the chase. He's getting close, and it looks like Dirgius is gonna be home safe. Now Suntouch is the goose going around. Once again, too fat. Dirgius just taking up too much space. Proxy giving chase. Suntouch makes it and will be able to get home safe. They're now going to head to their respective lanes, but ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a victor for the Duck Duck Goose. I have no idea how victory is decided in Duck Duck Goose, honestly.
There is no winner.
Everyone wins.
We all lose. we all lose with Duck Duck Goose. Pre-game coming to a close. Minions have spawned. 10 more seconds and we'll see the camp spawning in just a couple of seconds, folks. These are obviously two teams that love to have fun with the game. A lot of tenured players, tenured teams here. A lot of talent as well. So don't get us wrong. They like to have fun. They understand. But at the end of the day, we are in store for a fantastic match, or matches, should I say? As finals, this is the best of 3.
This is the best of 3. Potato Boys have historically not had the best of luck up against Agilitas. In more than just the game, there have been certain situations that really were unfortunate for them. Nice banish out onto the joint. Ataraxia is going to be playing his Freya this game. But, we'll see how he's able to leverage that matchup up against Suntouch. Ataraxia is the more seasoned hunter, but Suntouch is a very versatile player. He has actually played every role competitively except for solo. So watch out. Solo Suntouch coming to a lane near you.
I want to point out one of the smaller things that just set these teams apart. So we saw the very early rotation from Adapting. It's something that we saw in almost all of our games. One of the more experienced teams would come in and rotate early out of the solo lane as the jungler and gank middle lane. The second he left solo lane, Pretty Prime 180'd, walked directly onto the tower, and that just completely took away any chance of a gank coming out from Thor. So those small map awareness is really what separates ranked players, amateur teams, and highly competitive teams. Those small decisions.
Speaking of the map control from this left-hand side is completely in favor of Potato Boys right now. Freya's early clear is incredibly weak. Sitting at level 2, Ataraxia has to help use his banish to clear the wave. Will now get level 3. Kanye Life already having to recall uncharacteristic weakness in lane coming out from your boy Murder. Usually it's Dirgius just field, a player who has historically not performed well in the early stages of the laning phase.
Ataraxia trying to get some poke onto the enemy duo lane. Suntouch and Dirgius versus Ataraxia and Kanye Life. These are 4 players that we kind of see in and out. As far as Gods and players, what do you think about this duo lane matchup?
I feel like Rom is definitely one of Suntouch's key picks. Kumakarna definitely for Dirgius. Honestly, I think they're all playing some of their best characters. This is the premier lane matchup for the premier European Challenger Cup matchup in the left jungle. Adapting. He's level 5. He's going up in the air using that jetpack, but where is he going to come down? Be turning his eyes over towards the middle lane, and he's going to regroup with Arrow. So has been read by Agilitas. They didn't have map vision on Adapting, but they knew.
Repikas.
Yeah.
Repikas was in that lower left-hand jungle, saw out the Thor, and that forced Agilitas to walk directly back on their tower. Sort of like how Pretty Prime did, just awareness altogether. Agilitas hiding up behind this rock, gonna pick up Suntouch. What a beautiful play coming out from the guys on Agilitas. Here comes the rest of Potato Boys. One more second, Suntouch is in the air. He's gonna land, and Adapting will take out Pretty Prime. Launch up Repikas in the air. Dirgius claims that one, and Suntouch actually going to get away. That is what that ultimate is for, Trent.
Suntouch got out. Unbelievable peel coming out from your boy Dirgius. First time I've ever seen him actually contribute to a team, but hey, I hope we see a lot more of it. Dirgius is a very good friend of mine, and I just like to poke fun at him. He's honestly one of the harder working players in Smite. He's earned his place on Potato Boys, and Potato Boys have earned their place in the finals matchup 4th week in a row. And top 2 is what counts. They look like a shoo-in for top 2. And now the question is, can they beat the bottom 2 SPL teams and get to the playoffs?
That's an interesting conversation. Agilitas and Potato Boys, as you said, really have come in and out of our tournaments week in, week out, 4 weeks into our Challenger Cup season. And they just do such a good job each and every week. And we take a look at the European standings for the SPL, and Team Coast and SK Gaming are 6th and 5th, respectively. And that's a big gap. Team Single-elimination is 6 and 4 at 4th place, and SK Gaming is 3 and 7 at 5th. So you could probably, there's 3 more weeks to play. These could balance out, but let's Team Coast and SK Gaming. Should Agilitas and Potato Boys face off against them tomorrow? How do you have those matches going?
Jeez, well, hold on a second. Arrow is going to be in trouble in the middle lane. Beads used. That's going to be rank 1, so 3 minutes. I think Agilitas, who are the higher seed, would be going up against Coast. I think they win that. Coast has been having trouble recently. As for SK, are they on LAN or are they online? This is a big question, because LAN SK is unbelievable. It's got to be a team synergy sort of thing. Maybe Reels just yells at people more effectively in person.
He actually does. Touching upon SK real quick,
Thor?
Reels is not in this game, but Adapting is. He's gonna dive into the middle lane. Wanted to dive onto that blue buff, but 1 versus 3, not something Adapting wants to take under his wing just yet. Experience seems to be leading the way of the red team Potato Boys. Repikas only level 6 versus Adapting's level 8. And about 600 gold above him is Thor. Single kill leading the way. So Adapting off to a great start for Potato Boys.
That said, Adapting is 0 for 2 on Thor ultimates. And so first of all, he's going for Thor ultimates that aren't guaranteed, which is totally fine. Like, you got to take risks, and you have global presence. Why not try and make something happen? Exactly. Here's the thing, though. When he can't get an engage he wants with the Thor ultimate, what does he do? He makes his farm more efficient by using his ultimate to get to creeps and keep it rolling with the gold. So he's losing a cooldown, but he's still getting a little bit of efficiency out of it, which is totally fine. I mean, there are some situations in other competitive games where you'll use cooldowns just for farm. Kanye is going to jump in, walled off, Divine Judgment coming through from Nemesis on Monster, will connect onto Repikas. Kanye life is absolutely destroyed. Now Dirgius with the uppercut onto Pretty Prime. Rom ult coming through. 3rd hit will connect, but not do quite enough damage. Adapting is going to spin, and Prime is low. Can Arrow find the kill? Spirit Ball to stun out. Pretty Prime should get enough distance, but now Suntouch coming in. Ataraxia could be the target here. Going to be able to position and be fine in the jungle. Adapting, going up in the air. He could get a lot of kills here. He just has to make it work. Lands onto Prime. Thunder dunk. That's the kill. Slowed under tower. Repikas wants it. Will get it. And he's going to get out with his life. Nice play from Repikas.
Nice play from Replicas. Nice play from Kanye. Like, if that Athena ultimate didn't come out, he was dead to rights from that crush. Just enough damage reduction provided from Athena to really prevent that from being another kill. A great play from adapting, and good try from Dirgius to really block off the enemy and get some mesmerize off, but just not able to quite do it. Meanwhile, Suntouch stays in lane the entire time, pushes an entire wave and a half onto this tower. Not going to opt to get damage himself, but will deny a lot of golden experience to Ataraxia.
Yeah, I mean, that denial is super effective. Looking at Ataraxia's build, he's rushed directly into a Witchblade. So Witchblade, first of all, gives you movement speed similar to Boots. He will still get he'll probably still get Boots for the pen and the magic power. He's definitely going to want that, but he might not need it for the movement speed. The thing is, though, he's going to be a lot tankier than Suntouch in this 1v1, so it gives him a lot of dueling potential, and he can play a little bit more aggressive in lane. We'll see how Ataraxia can leverage that very specific advantage. As for the solo lane, Proxy has rushed Rod of Tahuti before Boots. Proxy continues to do weird things and continues to somehow get away with him. The middle lane Arrow getting punished, in a lot of trouble, will be able to send him away as adapting clears speed and does not want to rotate to this because he's got farming to do.
You know, I really like this build out of Ataraxia. I think if you're going to forego Boots, we'll see if he does build the Boots, but if you're going to forego Boots, Witchblade and Fatalis are the two items that you want to have to really make up that, that difference.
Left side.
Fight by the Gold Fury. Suntouch taking a decent amount of poke from that Isis. Pretty Prime no longer trying to give chase, just hanging out. Replica's going to dash right through the enemy Potato Boys, kind of baiting that delicious 60% HP. Here comes Adapting, going to miss everyone with both of his abilities, and that's Berserker Barrage and ult down.
I think Prime blinked that.
He did.
Oh, okay, wow, incredible. Dirgius is gonna get Spirit Balled out. He's gonna go to sleep. Dirgius sleeping on the job. You know better than it. But I'm a Monster Connect on Ataraxia. The ROM ult coming through. Dirgius is going to die on arrival. Kanye gets a kill, but will fall as well. So it's gonna be a bit of a trade there in favor of Potato Boys. 6-2. They're looking really good this game, and their Scylla has gotten rolling. I talked about a weaker lane matchup, but when adapting kills your opponent for you, your lane matchup's not weak at all. Proxy in this fight. Snipe comes through, will connect, but Prime is dead.
Adapting, just using that Berserker Barrage so well, and Potato Boys might have had a dangerous Gold Fury before, instead opted to get the kills, and now get the safe Gold Fury. Proxy is still here. Proxy's been out of lane for about 2.5 minutes now. Potato Boys take down the Gold Fury. That's going to put them at a 3,300 gold advantage, so great play coming out from them. Proxy's still out of lane, going to go ahead and pick up some mid camps. Finally going to head back to base and then back to lane. That said, Confrey out of lane as well, has been for a while. Ra has better push at the moment than the Vulcan. Vulcan level 12 should be instantaneous clear. That said, Ra's in lane. Vulcan's not. Going to push this wave, heal his minions, and get some decent tower damage.
The thing about Nemesis is her ganks are a little bit weak. You have trouble getting in range of your opponents. If you're in range, Divine Judgment and being able to chase with speed buff, with your slow, can be very effective. Dashing in on the left-hand lane, looking for Suntouch. Suntouch has no mana and will likely die here. Doesn't want to give the kill to Kanye, but knows he can still get it. So greedy play does pay off. Adapting in the jungle, though, he's up in the air. He's going to come down. Who's his target? Doesn't find the hit needs. Berserker Barrage turns around, banished out, beads to get away. Adapting is going to have to back off here, but so are Agilitas. Here's my point. Proxy QQ rushed to Hootie, and you should never get away with this, but he was able to do so because Nemesis is relatively weak ganks. She needs really a stacked deck, and there was a Defender of Olympus on top of a Rom who had no mana, and any jungler could get that kill, basically. So Proxy gets this to Hootie, and now all the items he built from this point are 25% more magic power. That's really big. Like, getting to Hootie first is probably not a good idea, but once you get it, your power curve is so much stronger.
Very, very, very true with the Tahuti build. I like the ult from Adapting in the left-hand lane. It forced that tower not to go down, essentially. I didn't really do anything. Had to pop beads in a whole bunch, but just enough to play defense. Hunter versus Hunter, or Quasi-Hunter, as Ataraxia is playing that mage. right-hand side. Much different story. Adapting using a good wall. Here comes Pretty Prime from the middle lane. Proxy very, very, very low. But nobody behind him, so he's going to be able to back out no problem. Failed gank for Agilitas. They're going to lose decent amount, but they're okay for now.
Yeah, but you know, what do they give up for that gank? And it's a lot of pressure on left-hand lane now. It looks like a double recall coming out. Gold Fury is down, or you might have seen Potato Boys look for that one. Still going to try and hold this tower, but she will have a little bit of trouble. Thor's up in the air on a ward, so dashing away our Agilitas. Kanye has the preemptive strike charged up, and Adapting came back down. He's going to start clearing his speed. Hopefully that was communicated. His arrow needs to play a little bit more passively with the Sentinel. Will be able to get away, and now Adapting lurking in the jungle once again. He is just farming because he knows all he needs to do is have presence. He doesn't need to gank.
Exactly. That's really what Adapting's doing here. A decent wall, not the greatest application of it. Taunts come out from Kanye Life immediately into Confrey's ultimate. That annihilated arrow. 4 members on 2.5. Adapting just making his way in. Now it's a 4-on-3 in this solo lane. Proxy can do a decent amount here despite being on the side of the wrong numbers. Good turret zoning, good pop from the meatball, but not if he gets blown up like that, folks. Agilitas just so quick with these kills. Durgius being forced out along with his friend Adapting. They're going to relinquish this turret to Agilitas. They pick up the tower. That's going to be the first tower of the game. Potato Boys lose their solo lane tower 13, almost 14 minutes in, and Agilitas still raring down on this solo lane. Only one here is Durgius. Knows he can't stop it. 500 gold for the first tower.
Adapting.
Not so much.
Thorol coming in, huge stun, followed up with the Spirit Ball, and that's going to be a nice turnaround onto Adapting. Absolutely destroyed. Now Durgius asleep on the job yet again. Kanye messed out, but will be able to get away as Durgius does fall in the left-hand lane. Rom never had the chance to rotate. Actually, I think he did have the chance to rotate. I think that was a mistake, because Freya's tower killing potential is horrible, and so you can actually just leave her in lane if you're able to go contribute helps your team. Now, the worry is either Freya getting too much free farm without the payoff for Suntouch, or or Freya rotating with Suntouch and being scarier in the team fight. So those would be the reasons why Suntouch stayed, but not wanting to lose your tower isn't a good reason, because Freya's not going to be very good at taking it.
Freyas don't traditionally build Polynomicon, which is the one thing that was almost core on Freya Hunter, because it allowed you to kill towers. These days, what is it? Is it already down to 25%, or is it still 50?
It's 50%, but Freyas don't build enough magic power for that 50% to be worthwhile. Still, it can get poly because you're gonna have 800 magic power. So yeah, it hits for 400. That's worth it. I feel like 300 is the number. When your poly has 300 raw damage on it, it's worth the buy. But before then, it's just like lifesteal's not very good. For mages, it's actually pretty good on Freya, because she does actually get the full she gets the full coefficient as well when she's using Pulse Irradiate, whereas AoE abilities from mages have 33%, so your lifesteal is very, very weak. But it's just magic power in the passive essentially, and if you're not building enough magic power to make that passive another nuke, it's not worth buying. Basically, you don't want your poly to hit for 100.
Yeah, not much extra damage going that way. Gold Fury being warded out by both teams. Ping's coming out on the left side of the map. Proxy thinking about rotating because Confrey is, but he's actually going to stay in lane. 3 members of Agilitas in the middle lane support, and 2 mages right here. Pretty Prime and Confrey, both such incredible mage players, and we're going to see them just sort of hanging out. Confrey, also streamer on Smite Game 2, so if you're interested in seeing a little more of his ins and outs, go ahead and check out his stream. And Potato Boys are finally going to respond to this mid lane push, and we'll see a 5-on-5 standoff.
Oh, dash in, that's the taunt, annihilated with the follow-up combo ultimate off of Isis Prime, playing that one so well. Durgy is taken down by Confrey with a beam. You were just mentioning Confrey on Smite Game 2, and this raw play is just, ooh, I want to see what makes him tick. The biggest thing is he's a very mid lane solo laner.
Yes. He
And that's
plays
so
solo
cool.
lane so aggressively, ready to fight, ready to rotate at a moment's notice. Kanye with a taunt, but great beat from Proxy. That's a kill onto the support. Great job right there. Sun Touch in the air, adapting in the air, landing on the backside, stuns out. Great job. Sun Touch taking a lot of damage from that Celestial Beam. Ross, so much damage already with just that Warlock Sash and Boots 3 starting to build into that lost artifact, but a lot of damage coming out from that one single ability.
So Ra is fundamentally OP in the current meta, and the reason why is there is no other team healer that is viable.
But Pet, what about Hell?
Hell's not viable because she dies. Because a jungler like adapting will murder you forever.
No, Murder changed his name to Kanye Life.
All right, I'm done with you. Chunga doesn't heal nearly as much as Ra until much later in the game. Like, maybe if you ran Chunga and Guan, you could match a single Ra. And Aphrodite, I'm saying specifically a team healer, because she heals single targets. She will have to sustain between fights, that is helpful, but she cannot heal up a team in even close to the same amount of time that Ra can. They're going to be healing for roughly the same amount, but Ra's got that little heal pit to heal up a group of players. So between fights, a team with Ra will just be able to heal back up, stay in lane, and keep farming, whereas Potato Boys have to recall.
Yeah, that sustain is just so imperative. You know, you mentioned Guan Yu, and I do like the Guan Yu. Guan Yu is probably, in my opinion, the next most viable raid healer in Smite. It's more frequent. It's just not the amount that you can heal with Ra is insane.
Yeah.
It almost demands a weakening curse, honestly, and we just don't see that out from Potato Boys just yet. No, there's 2 slots for actives, one on Sun Touch, we won't see it there, and one on Proxy, we probably won't see it there either because he's in the back line, but it would be good. Arrow beats out of the banish, very important, otherwise that was a dead Scylla. Again, we see 4 members in blue in this middle lane. Agilitas really wants this middle tower crap.
Oh, Georgius on the left-hand side could be in trouble. Divine Judgment onto Sun Touch, who is tired of being judged and will dash away. Repkos also going to reposition, but Thor comes down. Damage onto Ataraxia. Almost death. Shell coming out. Valkyrie's Discretion trying to stay alive. Rom's up in the air, and Ataraxia is going to actually, that uppercut, not going to save him, but will keep him from dying right immediately. Confrey will not hit the snipe, and now Kanye Life stunned out a few times. Repikos trying to position, trying to get in. Potato Boys do have a W in this fight so far, but Kanye just turned that around. Circle of Protection Prime is absolutely unbelievable. The Vulcan ult didn't seem to connect. Nice double tap. I'm a Monster will not connect, but there is a kill going down to Dirgius nonetheless.
That Vulcan ult, that's what we talk about when we see Vulcan being picked. As
Oh
they're
my
still gonna kill Arrow! Confrey and Pretty Prime combine to make one incredible mage. Confrey continuing his reign of terror.
You want to call Adonis, or should I call Adonis? Because we're getting an instant replay of that. What was amazing, and what we both reacted to, was the synergy.
Celestial Beam came out at the same time Spirit Ball was firing. They assumed the stun. This is how you play as a well-oiled machine. Agilitas is doing it. They're aggressing on the Fire Giant. Thor's in the air, 50% on the Fire Giant already. Is he gonna land? He is. Lands down, doesn't get a stun. Taunted, hit by damage, and now he's dead. Confrey with his third kill in a row. Dirgius knocks somebody up and steals it for his team.
Yeah, so Kumba is probably the best person at stealing Fire Giant in the game right now. Basically what happens is if he can blink in, you just epic uppercut your target, you knock him away. They
and
can't
your target
do anything
is
about
the
it.
support.
Yeah, your target is the support, the person who can hog the FG.
Because you can't hog well in the air.
Yes, you can. Or no, you can't. And
don't tell me I'm wrong on that one, Chris.
You're right on that one, I swear. The words. And then you hug it, and it's just, that is so frustrating for Agilitas, because they were about to win the game, and now Gold Fury also very well could go the way of Potato Boys. It will be forced to reset as Ataraxia just show up. The other thing, and I have to make the call out here, there were 2 Hog 1s, and either of those players could have had a Hog 3 and helped their team out a lot.
Yeah, I honestly think this was just fantastic play coming out from Dergius more than anything else. Bats off to Potato Boys right there, evening it up with that one. Agilitas leading for a long time, or Potato Boys leading for a long time, and Agilitas sort of winning that one right there, and then Dergius comes and puts the brakes on any sort of lead that they're trying to get. So good play, great play, fantastic play coming out from Potato Boys. Just highlight after highlight. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just one of those matches where oftentimes when you see a highlight reel of a game, it's one side. It's the side that's winning, doing stuff really cool when they're ahead and they have a little bit of an advantage. And obviously it takes skill and it's flashy, it's really cool to watch, but this is one of those games where looking at the highlights, you probably have an even number of highlights from each team. Both of them are incredible.
With a great roll. Ataraxia gets a lift, but Sun Touch, Dergius just embodies the position support. Understands that he needs to help his team. Gets the epic uppercut, goes for the root, but Sun Touch already out. Fantastic play, honestly, from both players. This is some of the highest level Smite we've seen in our Challenger Cup thus far. 23 minutes in, 15-9, read the kills, but the scoreboard reads a much different experience. Gold, all but tied. Experience, 2,700 up for Agilitas, but doesn't really quite matter because Dergius is the one level 13, Connie Life is level 12, and they're the supports.
In the middle lane, Proxy getting dove. Kanye can't quite get in taunt range, but that mid tower, well, it's probably going to go down here. Proxy could hold this. Can he buy enough time? Super Bowl coming through. Vulcan all onto Kanye. He's going to have to lick his wounds in a raw heal for about 5 seconds because raw heal is incredible. Let's look at some stats. 18k healing. That is the second highest number in the game. Proxy has done 19k damage, but that's a lot.
Your left tower.
That's raw.
That is an incredible amount. In comes Kanye Life, gets a good taunt. Raw America not gonna make it this time around. Meatball gonna hit 2 members, that's fantastic. Down comes the Thor in the back line with the surge spin to win. Arrow gets a kill. Replicas takes down the jungler. 3 members, everybody on the blue team. Agilitas is very low, but Ataraxia in the sky gonna miss the last hit on an Arrow. Gotta find the kill somewhere else. Call up the other mage, gets the stun ball on him. Proxy QQ gonna take out Replicas. 2-on-2 as Dergius falls asleep on the side. They need to retreat because Dergius will be back up and will re-engage.
Man, Proxy just didn't read that right because they always juke to the right. Confrey able to avoid the meatball on that one. The synergy between these two players is absolutely unbelievable, but nonetheless, Potato Boys win that fight. Let's talk about what went wrong there. And it looked even, the Ice Assault, it was originally, well, yeah, Gold Fury probably in favor of Potato Boys. I mean, unless some crazy synergy, there is a, Dergius is dead.
Dergius is dead. No hot 3. It's up Potato to the Boys mages. Potato Boys do pick it up. Great try from Agilitas.
Sun Touch.
Here comes Sun Touch. Gets the stun.
Wait, Kanye.
Roll into Kanye, but a mischarge. They're going to have to settle for the Vulcan.
Oh, Kanye. Come on. Preemptive Strike should be coming up soon. Will he dive the tower? Now adapting is here. The mage synergy continues. His Confrey is going to stay alive. Prime and Country played that so well. Kanye, unfortunately, sometimes you just miss your mechanics. Even for the best players, it's, you know, the best ADCs hit 90% of their auto attacks. Maybe. Probably more like 80%.
Yeah.
This is a hard game. You can't hit everything, and sometimes you just dash in the wrong direction and drop a kill, which sucks. But you can't let it get to. That fight, just going back over it, great engage from Agilitas, great turnaround from Potato Boys, great turnaround from the Ice Assault from Agilitas, and then Arrow lands a great Sikkim, a great crush, keeps people in place, knocks out a few quick kills for the Potato Boys, and I don't want to say that fight went completely in their favor, because Prime and Confrey killed it at the end, but the objective did go to Potato Boys.
Can we talk about the mages that they're specifically using?
No, we can't.
Yesterday we saw Aduro's team lose a game because they picked Isis and Ra.
Yeah.
They couldn't really get the damage out. You could say it was builds. We do see a more aggressive build on the Pretty Prime's Isis than we saw on a different Isis. And Confrey building that support mage, but 6-0-8 can't exactly call him support as he's the highest level in the game. The difference here between that North American team and the European team here is that North America had two mages that were all right. They were good. Agilitas has a single mage with 8 abilities. They're just interacting with each other incredibly well, as if they were coming out of the same kit. Left-hand side, Sun Touch forced into the air. This should be a death even with the Athena ult. Sun Touch rolls out, but that shot from Replica is going to secure the Sun Touch kill. That'll be the 3rd death for Potato Boy's namesake. Durgius comes in. Shell popped by Agilitas. Great forward thinking, expecting that interaction. Durgius all alone now, surrounded by 4. Slowed out. Uppercut. Ataraxia kills the support. Opens the window for the Fire Giant. Taking a look. Not a single Hog 3 adapting still with Hog 1, but Agilitas on the left side of the map will probably just go for some towers.
The big problem with this game, Nemesis is great at killing supports, right? And Freya is great at killing supports. Together, Durgius is dead, but the other thing is, how does he item this? You obviously want sovereignty, and then you're up against a team that has a Nemesis and 4 magical, so either you die to Nemesis and can't really tank towers too well, or you die to the magic damage from everyone else. Durgius is a little bit of a conundrum. Mid-Guardian wouldn't be bad. Kanye is going to be taking a lot of damage there. Circle protection certainly helps out, and adapting gets turned around upon Ataraxia will get very low, but Confrey shows up, and he is your raid healer for the day, playing that Restoration Shaman. Just healing everybody up in the big circle.
Restoration Shaman are actually horrible right now. We'll go ahead and call him a Resto Druid. Good job coming out from Confrey, able to heal his entire party, and in comes the damage side of Confrey. Shooting out that Celestial Beam, actually shoving Potato Boys off the tower. Arrow forced to retreat, and Agilitas are going to play this coy. I'd like to think they're just going to heal up and do it again, though.
That's basically what's going to happen. Confrey, looking at his build, he does have cooldown reduction, decent amount of magic power. Shell popped. You already know what's going to happen. They're going to dive in, try and kill Proxy, and Proxy will fall. Nice Spirit Ball there, chunking him out for a lot of health. Ataraxia diving deep, will take damage. A little bit too over-aggressive, but Heavenly Agility coming out, returns to the heal, and now trying to stay alive, but Sun Touch with the snipe. Great play from him. Searing Pain is a little bit too early. Spirit Ball will not connect, but the tower is down. And now Adapting is up. He lands on a pretty prime, has the damage reduction from the Ice Assault from the Aegis, and it's going to allow him to survive. DR stack is OP. F dot, it finally happened. I'm so psyched.
The shell plus the Isis ultimate, folks, makes you almost invulnerable to damage. Potato Boys falling back completely onto their base. They're relinquishing this Phoenix. They're just going to try and come up, but with that amount of time, Kanye Life trying to provide some sort of spacing. Nobody focusing the Phoenix. This could be a good fight for Potato Boys. Durgius takes out his enemy support. Replicas rooted on the Phoenix, going to take a little bit of damage, but this is something Durgius and Potato Boys want to chase. Slowed out, but rooted is a Replicas with those beads active. Going to put Retribution Shield dancing between 3 members. Stun Ball's going to miss, but the Celestial Beam is good. Durgius, half HP. Agilitas going to retreat. Pick up a Gold Fury on their way back, most likely. Great defense coming out from Potato Boys.
You know, this Gold Fury, here's the problem for Agilitas. They cannot leave or they lose the Gold Fury, but they can't take it because Durgius is up. Gold Fury has been pulled for Potato Boys. Confrey is coming back around. It's low. Potato Boys take the Gold Fury, but what will they lose for it? Searing Pain comes through. Nice circle protection. Durgius very low. Will use Uppercut to gain some range as it is a mini dash. Replicas trying to heal up, but that's just a clean Gold Fury steal. 400 gold, but 6,000 experience. So there is still a lead, but it's levels on adapting. Actually, you know what? No, it's not a lead. So the thing about experience is you continue to gain experience even when you're max level. It just doesn't do anything. But overall, since Durgius is 1 level ahead of Kanye and adapting is 1 level behind Replicas, they're even effectively in experience. Yes, this game is tied.
Yes. This game is completely tied. Potato Boys with the incredible defense. We mentioned them getting off of their Phoenix. They come back onto the Phoenix, engage when they know they can, take an objective just for the hell of it, force that Gold Fury. They're going to tip the scales in their favor. They're up 1,000 gold, which is effectively a tie, but it's significant in a memorial sense, in the sense that they were behind numerically, now they're ahead numerically. It might not make any item difference, but just seeing those numbers definitely means something for the swing of things. Fire Giant now the thing that both teams are going to be looking at for their next large engagement. 32 minutes into this match, Crat. Potato Boys and Agilitas will do that,
side.
But Pretty Prime getting aggressive.
Yeah, looking for Dirgius, but not doing that much damage. Stone of Guy is going to mitigate a little bit too much, and Prime does have the Obsidian Shard. He does have his pen, but you can only get so much on a mage, and that's sort of the only downside to this Raw Isis interaction. You don't have someone to get a Spear of the Mages. You can argue that it's decent on Raw, but only if you're placing your heal aggressively, which is risky. You want to be able to place your heal wherever you want it.
I need a new pair of Ray-Bans, because Suntouch is just split pushing. He's going to continue. He's going to make the sun shine on this left-hand tower. The entire left-hand lane. Fight not even starting it on the right side of the map.
Agilitas has to force it.
They have to. They're actually going to send Ataraxia to go stop Suntouch, which is not... It's
not going to happen. And here comes the Force diving in. Target seems to be Proxy. Shell is out for Agilitas. A little bit of damage from the Celestial Beam, but a good disengage, which is exactly what Kumba does. And Potato Boys is playing so well around this Kumba, and Agilitas is having a little bit of trouble because they're like, all right, we're going to go in. And you're just like, no, you're not. But now, second try onto Proxy. Snipe comes through. Con free. 7, 0, and 9. Circle protection out on Isis and exploded, and that is exactly how you play. But the epic uppercut knocks back everyone. Wall will stop the chase a little bit. Dirgy is taken down by the Freya. Now Suntouch trying to do something for his team. Will the taunt come out in time? Sprint away is good, but Fire Giant will go to Agilitas here. This game might have just cracked wide open.
Agilitas definitely going to be the ones on the receiving end of this Fire Giant. Adapting going to go into the air. Doesn't have that Hog 3. Stuns out, but it doesn't quite matter. Agilitas takes the Fire Giant. Adapting in a precarious situation. Putting out damage, but taking a lot of damage. Crits are coming out onto Repicas, believe it or not, but Adapting is going to go ahead and flip out with that Mjolnir's attunement. Suntouch trying to provide some sort of defense, knows better, has to give up the tower. Kanye and Repicas chasing. Good taunt, no beads, ultimate from the Nemesis. Pretty Prime steals that kill with the stun ball. Good wall coming out from Adapting, trying to prevent this push, but it's not going to happen, folks. Agilitas are going to push this Phoenix, but Potato Boys provided fantastic defense last time. Can they do the same thing against the Fire Giant buff?
Well, Fire Giant buff pushing in. The tower damage is a little weak. Nemesis is the only physical character and not huge magic power on the mages, but big engage on the backline. Adapting, spinning, gets a lot of damage. Epic uppercut to peel off, and Repicas will land into Scylla damage. Now dashing away, and the Phoenix is only at 75%. Thor comes down, circle protection, but it's not going to be good enough to keep Confrey alive. That's his first death of the game. Absolutely exploded with the help of Adapting and Arrow, and now Agilitas' comp could fall on its face because they don't have a good way to kill Phoenixes.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the downsides of having that Freya Hunter, but one of the upsides is that ult damage, eliminating the middle laner Arrow. She's going to go down on that Scylla. Dirgy is taking a lot of damage, not stunned. Premature pop by Pretty Prime, but it's still a 4-on-2. Suntouch just spawned. This could spell trouble. Kanye trying to provide some sort of spacing, trying to get Ataraxia to kill this structure. Not able to do it. Phoenix 25%. Ult onto Adapting from the Nemesis. Rom providing spacing with that ult. They still want to focus the Phoenix, and they do. The first Phoenix of the game taken out in 35 minutes of regulation. Proxy QQ falls down in the middle, trying to get that Phoenix. And one more time, great defense from Potato. They lose the right side.
Because a lot of trouble, taken down by Suntouch. Nice mess from Dirges to remove that Retribution shield and secure the next auto attack. Now Kanye trying to get away, will drop a shield wall. Nice zoning, Banish comes through as well.
Good lift.
Adapting almost had a really good play there. So what he did, and I want to highlight this because it was a really good try. It didn't work, but he Mjolnirs forward, and at max range, he presses 1 to immediately teleport, and still aiming where he thinks his opponents are, he presses 2.
Yep.
And he just fires the wall blind, and he's like, right, I need to get the fastest possible wall here. I'm just going to try for it. It doesn't hit. It's far off, but the idea was brilliant. That Phoenix went down, and here's the thing about Agilitas. They have 2 options for killing the Phoenix. either Isis and Ra focus it with their auto attacks from range, because they do have decent amounts of magic power, and will be hitting the actually, so Ra 711 magic power will be hitting the Phoenix rather hard. I want to say 200 at his slow mage attack speed rate. Or Repikas does it in melee, at which point he will die. Which happened.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the way Potato Boys have been defending. That push was a 2 Phoenix push. Potato Boys willed that into a 1 Phoenix push. After it finally went down on the right side, they shaded over to the mid with enough damage to just kill, but Potato Boys just playing fantastic defense, and I think this is really, I think we're seeing both sides of the teams. I think Agilitas plays fantastic while ahead, and Potato Boys have fantastic defense, and they're both in their own wheelhouses right now, so it's kind of a rough match for everyone. Goldfree released by Potato Boys, going to play it a little more safe. Definitely what they need to be doing here. Good decision making coming out from the red team today.
Ataraxia is going to pop sprint. He wants Dirgius banish out, and that throwback's going to be down. So Dirgius is a sitting duck, but a sitting duck that's also bait as Ataraxia is absolutely destroyed by Proxy. Kanye comes down from the sky. Monster will not connect an arrow. Forced to dash away. Peel with the Thor, but Prime is too good. Circle protection onto Dirgius, and he's very low. We'll have to back out at the very least, if not die.
Proxy.
And Prime is destroyed by Proxy. I didn't know he had Vulcan mechanics. This man can play everything.
Vulcan
is
is
also Sun Touch, taking a Phoenix. Confrey about to die to Proxy. Backfire hits the wall. Ooh. Confrey is probably dead here.
Confrey is definitely in a rough spot at the moment. Teleport missed by adapting, so he's not going to get that distance, unfortunately. And Confrey...
Speed of light.
Confrey is very, very fast. Adapting, going to try and cut him off. Wall should be coming up in about 3 seconds.
Speed of light. Oh!
There it is. That's the wall.
It.
And that's the death before Confrey suffering his second death of the entire game. 8-2-10. Still spectacular coming out from Confrey, but adapting does get the kill. Proxy QQ. So Vulcan is a character that draws ire of a lot of people. Just not fantastic, questionable passive, incredibly difficult to play. And then you get to 40 minutes, we're approaching the 40-minute spot, and he's just a ranged Habwa. He gets this long-range backfire on a 3-second cooldown, stun knockup on Magma Bomb hitting for about 500 if I'm not mistaken. And we don't have to mention the ultimate. Potato Boy is starting the Fire Giant. Hard to tell if this is real or if it's just a bait, Kret.
Honestly, I think they can take it. They do have Scylla on their way in. Proxy's got great zoning potential, but they want to fight, and Ataraxia is very, very low. Sun Touch getting turned around on, but Thorol is super good. Sun Touch will die, but adapting gets the kill onto the Freya. Repikas forced to reposition. But there's really still great potential to take this Fire Giant here because of Vulcan's turret. And you know, the other thing I want to mention, part of what makes Habwa so good is that, oh, hold on, Kanye in trouble, walled off, but it's the wrong side, so walling off Kanye from going in. And just going to walk around here. Stalemate continues. So Habwa, obviously he does stupid amounts of damage. All right, they're dashing in, they're fighting, Spirit Ball comes through, F-Dot, what's going to happen?
Kanye Life, they're looking for that. They're looking for the Mage Rage right here. They're looking for the taunt into everything from Pretty Prime and Confrey, which is how they've won many of their fights before. They get a taunt or a Spirit Ball, and then they just Mage Rage. They combine their powers, and they turn into... They just turn into Captain Agilitas, Kret. They just murder a particular Prime target with that Confrey Pretty Prime combination. So it's an interesting... Well, it's really not that interesting. It's pretty just cut and dry. Shoot stuff at somebody, CC'd. It's just the fact that they have so much synergy to understand. They can't do that to Dirgius anymore. That's what they were doing in the mid and early game. So now they have to look for the main damage source, which, you know, if we take a look at the number graph, player damage coming out from Potato Boys is being led by Sun Touch. You can eliminate, well, Proxy, but that's Vulcan, is being led by Sun Touch. You can eliminate him, but it's not like eliminating the support, so the Mage Rage really has to come together, and we get the taunt, we get the stun. Good stun! Great Celestial Beam, not enough to kill this time, but it will chase 2 members out.
Circle used, and it didn't really do anything. I think it tickled Dirgius a little bit. Vulcan ult's going to come through. Proxy was forced very low by Ataraxia. This could be an opportunity for the Fire Giant coming out from Agilitas. They can still take this game. on Vulcan, and much like Habla, they both have the ability to knock you up and then burst you. When you're in a knockup, you can't Aegis, you can't Beats, you can't jump away, and that's so huge. That's why late game Vulcan is super effective. That's going to be the Fire Giant pulled. They don't want to contest it with Dirgius in their epic uppercut.
Didn't reset. Potato Boys. Dirgius steals the Fire Giant.
Every time.
Did not reset because of the Rye heel underneath the feet of the Fireman. Good ult onto Repicos. Going to provide him some reduction.
Confrey.
Sun Touch caught on the side. He'll go up. Adapting kills Confrey quietly. Sun Touch providing damage from the sky. Raining hell onto that Hunter Ataraxia. Down goes Sun Touch, but not before he does do his job. Arrow and Proxy take out 2 more. They're not even the ones with the Fire Giant left. Potato Boy's going to take out Kanye Life. One more hit from Dirgius. Couple of basics.
Oh, he's got it.
Support on support.
Yeah!
That fight doesn't even matter. That's more about bragging rights. Potato Boys have a solid 40 seconds to rage down this middle lane. 1 tower gone. We see them pressing on. This Phoenix will go, and the Titan will go. They're going to get there before the 30 seconds, and that's just a raw. They'll be able to handle that as well. 42 minutes of Smite back and forth, folks. Winds up with a 10,000 gold lead. Potato Boys take game 1.
Really well played from the Potato Boys. Proxy coming out absolutely unbelievable on that Vulcan. I honestly did not know he had the Ninja God pool. I didn't know he could play Vulcan at such a astonishing level. I mean, he's like, that was just straight up, all right, you're going to play against Pretty Prime. You're like, let me show you how it's done. The Vulcan. I feel like it's King of the Hill with Vulcan.
All right.
You got to play Vulcan against another Vulcan player, and you got to do mad well. Proxy just took the crown in my eyes.
I'm gonna be the caster that everybody gets mad at. I think that Proxy played well. I think that Proxy played well. 5, and 8, pretty good. I think late game Vulcan is just a mess to deal with, regardless of how good your abilities are. I don't think Proxy played poorly, but I think that this was just the reward you get for getting that late into a game with a Vulcan, sort of like a Kalima. So I definitely don't think Proxy played poorly, but I think it was the character really doing work. I got nothing. This was a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was.
Mage Rage from Agilitas, just fantastic defense, and I really just think Potato Boys need to start losing so they can come back.
Yeah.
They play from behind well, they play defense well, they know what to do when they don't have the tools to do it. I'm very excited.
That said, I mean, there was a huge weakness on Agilitas. There was a big break in their composition. They didn't have a way to kill the Phoenix.
Yes, that was a big problem.
Was huge. I mean, if they had a Hunter, just imagine a Hunter, no kit, just a Hunter, right?
Yep.
Doing what Ataraxia did that game, they probably could have won, because they would have had someone to just shoot the Phoenix, and Freya can't do that. So just to expound on it, Freya doesn't build enough magic power to do good damage to the Phoenix, and doesn't have enough base damage to do good damage to the Phoenix with her attack speed. Often also doesn't have the Obsidian Shard. Looking at Ataraxia's build, he didn't. So he's not going to penetrate it really at all. 15 from his spear. And because Freya relies on the steroids of her Pulse Irradiate that add damage to your auto attacks to do damage, it's not the actual auto attack itself, you just kind of don't kill the Phoenix. Now, Kronos would have been really good. He is incredible at killing the Phoenixes because he does hit with his basic attacks. But Freya just technically doesn't. It's a huge weakness of her in the Hunter role. And I like the Freya, but this just showed a big weakness in the character, and that, like, you need some other physical damage to get those structures down. Nemesis was good, but if Country was on Chalk, maybe, or something else.
See the difference is the Freya Hunter with a physical in the jungle works if the game doesn't go to 40 minutes and may just delete you, because that's the problem. If it's a 25-30 minute game, you can have a little bit of sustain while being melee range trying to kill that Phoenix. And mages won't just delete you, especially if you're Nemesis specifically and you can sort of retribution shield. When you get 40 minutes into a game of Smite crit, mages start to do incredible damage, so you just can't handle it anymore. We're going to go into game 2 first. I do have to highlight, especially since I talked down about it, Proxy QQ almost reached 58,000 damage. So hats off to the numbers, but
Yeah.
they don't mean much when you're Vulcan. Moving on to game 2, we'll see if Agilitas...
Free damage.
We'll see if Agilitas can come back and drag us out to a game 3, or if Potato Boys will take their first victory of the European Challenger Cup.